chosen by destiny.
But in the end,
There can be only one.
That's right. 3 indie comic campaigns enter, 1 campaign leaves. That's right. It's time once again to put indie campaigns through the gauntlet of glory and heartbreak and maybe a few typos. Welcome to the comic book showdown of Ultimate Destiny. But wait. Where's my partner Smurf? He usually would be right here. Has he been kidnapped by vampires, perhaps? Or eaten by zombies? Perhaps because this weekend he is at the Colorado Festival of Horror. So, what am I going to do? Well, have no fear, friends, because when destiny calls, the showdown always finds a way. And today I brought in some serious backup with me. He's a creator, he's a campaigner, and a legend in his own right. Please welcome, everybody, Mr. Fish.
What is up, brother? Glad to be here, man. Super excited to be on the show. Long-time fan, first-time co-host. Glad to be here, man.
Welcome. It's good to have you. I've seen you on a couple of other shows. Tell us a little bit about all the things that you do in the comic book industry.
Well, I am Mr. Fish from Mr. Fish Comics. I have been called the fastest pen in indie comics. I did not name myself that, but I definitely ran with it when somebody else did. I am finishing up my 117th book I've worked on in the last 6 years in indie comics. And
Holy
the
moly.
vast majority of the time, that is as the penciler, letterer, inker, and colorist. Like, you give me a script, I give you a finished book. I'm finishing up my 17th book of my own right now, Alice Lost in Wonderland, which is still available for late pledges on Kickstarter at gomrfish.com right now.
Go
And
check it out.
that's the 3rd issue in that series, going to be a 6-issue arc for the first chunk. Alice is this bounty hunter lost in this interdimensional rift of Wonderland, and she is on the hunt for her adopted dad, the time-traveling White Rabbit, and she has to catch him and deliver him to the Queen of Hearts, who's sworn to kill her on sight. Awesome time-traveling nonsense, generational trauma. Great book. Highly recommend it. But I work on all kinds of things. I just finished up issue 12 of The Sentinels for Standard Comics, which is going to be launching on Kickstarter real soon. The pre-launch page is open right now, Sentinels 12. And that's what I do, man. I draw comics. I do a Wednesday art stream with my buddy Esteban from Ultra Comics, what's Roll for Hero, where we roll up random prompts and draw new characters on the spot and design them with input from the fans. And I do 5-Star Fridays on Friday nights on the Agents of Geekdom Network, which we'll be doing live from Middletown, Ohio, because I am at my buddy Tony's house right now in his office, and I am streaming from his house because I'm in Ohio for 5-Star Comic-Con in Middletown, Ohio. So
Nice.
you got to come check it out if you're anywhere near. What is up, man? Good to see you.
Yeah, Gerald is with us. So how do you balance all that? I mean, is this all that you do is comic stuff, or do you also have another job?
I'll be honest with you, man. I don't know how anybody has a job and a family and leads Cub Scouts and does comics. I don't if you do that, you have my deepest respect and honor and admiration. I could not do that. I could not do it all. It is my full-time job, mostly because I spent 15 years in a wheelchair, unable to walk, talk, and see most of the time. And when I finally got back to where I could do a little bit of stuff again and start getting some freedom back, nobody wanted to hire the guy that couldn't drive on Tuesday or might not be able to talk on the phone Wednesday. So I had to build a freelance career around what I could do. And I do all my communication with my clients on Messenger, so I don't have to be able to talk. I draw from my recliner, so I don't have to be able to stand or walk real far or carry things. And it just so happens telling stories and drawing are the things that I'm best at as well. So like when your dream matches up with what you're actually really good at, that's a pretty good combination. And I got really lucky during COVID. I thought drawing muscle men beating each other up in their underwear was like the epitome of non-essential, I thought. Turns out I got busy as all get out, man. Every stimulus check that came out, somebody was asking me to do a new book.
That's
I was like,
awesome.
you're supposed to pay your rent with that. I'll pay my rent 100%, but like, okay, I'll do it. And I got so busy, started doing books for all kinds of people. And like I said, now I'm 117 books in since
That,
2019. So yeah, it's been
that's
busy.
fantastic. Wow. Yeah, you got me beat, man. I am doing the wearing of the many hats. I teach at a college. I teach art. I teach design. I teach comics. So I do get to still do some of what I love, but I'm not really creating while I'm in class. And there is a lot of time that's required outside of class, grading and preparing new lessons. And right now we're transitioning into more and more online. So that means spending a lot of time on discussion boards and with them about that. And then, family. And so those are things that, you have to divide your time up with. And like you said, it's hard to get a comic done or just work on all those things
It's an
in the
amazing
little time that's left.
accomplishment. And then when you have to be the social media manager and the advertiser and the marketer and the purchase order department and the shipping department and all of
Yeah.
that stuff at the same time, that's a lot of work. And then like you throw on services like running down people's Kickstarters and
Right.
over and giving them detailed lists of how they can make it better and the mistakes they're making that they didn't see and they're really glad you pointed it out so they can make it better. I'm saying from experience. Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
you.
I've often wrestled with that before. Because I have this show we do every Friday. We look at 3 campaigns, give people feedback. And then I also have the crowdfund clinic where I sit down and I spend some time with different clients breaking down in full detail, like the positives and the negatives of their campaigns. And sometimes I've stopped and asked myself, like, if you weren't doing those things, you'd be making comics a lot bit more. So, but I don't
Don't
know. I
trust
like
me.
helping people. Obviously, I teach and now I'm doing this thing. So I obviously like helping people. Maybe that's a little bit stronger for me than the pull of storytelling now. I don't know. I mean, I still love storytelling. I love making comics, but
Well, that's what I enjoy about the streaming. I enjoy getting to teach people, inspire people, show people tricks that I've picked up along the way. But also, like, I have bills to pay. So I do a lot of client books for other clients. And I've moved more into doing more of my own stuff, but I'm still, taking on particular clients' gigs to help pad that out until my books start bringing in more money and I get enough tips from somebody to make my campaigns that much better. So they start bringing more people in and, working your way there. But you got to balance it. Though sometimes I do think to myself, like, man, you could be 117 books into Alice right now if you just focused on one thing.
yes, exactly. Well, just between you and me and the internet, I my plan is to finish up this last book that completes the second arc of Mythica, so that it maintains the same style that I drew it in for the first several issues. Put it into a completed book. And then I'm going to Todd McFarlane this bitch. I'm going to start hiring out artists to work on my own book. I'm just going to focus on covers and writing and being the art director, because I just don't have time to keep up with a book the way I want to. And I got other ideas sitting on the shelf too,
Well, and that's the thing. It matters on who you are at your core. Like, I'm a talented artist. I do a good enough job that people understand what's going on the page. But at my core, I'm a storyteller. Like, that's what I really want to do.
Yeah.
And so, as long as I'm getting to tell stories, I'm happy. And if
Yeah.
you've got a lot of stories burning in your heart, that kind of outweighs the art a little bit. And,
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't have
I
any
agree.
problem letting other people play with my toys and have fun with them.
I
I brought in
used to.
my buddy TS to write scripts for my book because I love his work and he does great
Yeah.
work and he takes my ideas and elevates them, and then I elevate them as I draw them and make them way more bigger and complex. And
Right.
it's a fun way to work with each other and collaborate, man. And I miss that. I'm glad to be having that now as opposed to doing it all by myself like I used to.
Yeah, I used to. I wrestled with that for a while. Benjamin, I appreciate you saying that. But one day I had to sit down and say, look, what's more important, getting out all my ideas and books out there so people can read them and enjoy them, or being the person who drew every page?
Yeah, that's the
And
thing.
I have to face my limitations with all the things I got going on. I can't keep up making books regularly. I'm paid every single page anymore. And it sucks to say that, but yeah, I'm gonna make sure to wrap up this issue so that's all complete and has the same style of the series, and then we'll start a new arc. The challenge is going to be finding someone that really fits that. So if you think that that might be you, then feel free to message me, submit some ideas. I'm excited actually, and I think you're part of this too. The Indie-tober is coming up, and Mythica has been chosen. Alice in Wonderland has been chosen. And so I'm going to get an opportunity, I think, to see some other artists and creators and their renditions of my Mythica characters. So that might be the start of saying, hey, let's see some more. We'll find out. But
what we're saying is fan art is a good thing. Do fan art. You might get a job. Just saying.
That's right. That's right.
Post it, tag it.
Then you can start your Mythica Renaissance fair. I agree. I've got so many stories from Mythica, and I've also got a whole nother series that I want to do. So without further ado, let's get back to what this show is all about, which is looking at indie comics. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to spin the Wheel of Destiny like we always do, but we're just going to spin the first one, review it, and then go spin again for the second one after we review that one. So you're going to have to wait and see to the end which ones get chosen. But check out the list of campaigns on the wheel today. We got a bunch. So I want to point out to you that these have come from all over. A lot of people were messaging me directly right through Facebook, which I appreciate. We also had some people on the different groups on Facebook. Some people responded to the post directly, and then we even had some people in the Discord channel adding on. So all in all, creates a very big list this week. Look at that. Beautiful. So are you guys ready to spin the wheel for the first time?
Let's go, baby.
Let's do it.
Let's fucking go!
There can be only one Highlander type situation. Behold, my wheel of
Destiny!
Pitter patter, let's get at her.
Time to spin the wheel.
I'm going to have to figure out a way to do that different for 3 times throughout the show. All right. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm going to play that clip 3 times. All right, let's do our first one. Let's see who's on the wheel first.
Lucky chicken bone, lucky chicken bone.
Number 1 is going to be Eric Avalon, book 1. All right. Congratulations. Let me pull that one up over here on Kickstarter. Where's my Kickstarter button? Went away. There it is.
Disappeared on you.
Disappeared. This is why we have the need for.
This is why we have rehearsals, Matt. You should have been here.
All right. So let's see. Let's switch over to this tab instead. And we'll switch over to this one first. All right. So Eric Avalon, book 1. This has got a goal of $6,700. They're already at almost $8,600 with 82 backers and 35 days to go. I don't know if they just started this or they're going with a 60-day campaign. I don't know, but
feels like a 60-day, but
at that pace, they're well on their way to 10K. I like to see that. And this is by Jonathan Medici. Or Medici, I don't know. Do you know how to say that? I don't know Jonathan. So this is going to be a new one. All right, so let's find out what this campaign tells us. It says, amid war, charges of treason, and a world that wants him dead, a father must walk through fire and risk everything to save his only son. That's a really good pitch.
That is really good. And that hits the points that you're always talking about. That gets us into the who, what, where without getting lost in a bunch of proper names for things that we don't know, on the planet of such and such and the nation of so and so. I don't know that, but I know what a father is. I know, what a son is. That hits the core issues quickly. I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So kudos to that tagline. And so take note. Didn't really have to know anything. There weren't really any big pronouns in that tagline. So way to go there. All right, let's see what this video tells us. I'll switch over to this view. Go full screen. This is a 2-minute video.
Imagine when man can move planets as if gods. What would humanity meddle with next? Would it be wise or cause death? Gaddock's 9 feet tall perfection have modified their DNA, while nanodites choosing machines to heal from within, dividing lines drawn, an inevitability between those who see their differences. War. Now amid this conflict, I must save my son. I must protect my family.
Hello, Eric. My name's Ivy. I'm the lead Gaddock geneticist. We're experiencing a massive problem, and we need your help.
We've lost the starboard engine.
Remote failure.
What are you doing?
I'll throw the pump manually.
No, Eric! It's over 3,000 degrees!
Stabilizing. All systems active.
What's happening to me? You're hiding him from us. Now, where is he?
You might be the key to everything.
Wherever you are, I will find you. Lena, I failed us.
Eric, when great men give up, the greatest ones push even harder. Be the greatest, my love.
Holy shit! That's my response.
All right, folks, that's all you need to hear. That was good. That was good.
That was good. Damn. That was like everything you'd want in a pitch perfect video. It had voiceover. Oh my! I want to know who's doing those voiceovers. Like there's one voice in there that sounded like someone I know. That was great. Like the deep villainous voice.
Oh yeah, and the artwork is really beautiful. I love the sketchy vibe of it, that it's not taking itself too seriously, but
It's
also
almost like concept art.
It's very clear that this person knows what they're doing. Like, this isn't somebody that doesn't have the skill set to draw super clean lines. This is somebody who knows how to draw the human form and is doing this style, and it's really beautiful, but also I imagine has to be a little bit quicker, which makes something like this easier to do. And then the motion graphic aspects were really beautiful.
Yeah, there was like great animation there throughout. Yeah, the style feels almost kind of like digital painterly concept art. Like you said, they have a good grasp of it. They're like, I don't need to detail the shit out of this. They get the picture. It's move on to the next one. I'll tell you what, David says maybe AI. If that's AI, then I'm going to tell people to go use it. because it helped. It was great.
It had pretty decent emotion to it. Now, I mean, like there are AI filters you can put over your voice,
Yeah.
but I have yet to find one that does a good job. Like
Yeah.
that was pretty good.
I don't know what they did, whether that was paid actors or that was voiceover or that was AI, but all in all, it was really well done. And it kept me engaged. Like the way that, she paused right before she said, like be the best you can be or something. And then it busted into the title. Like that was just really good, like pacing and hook. That was exciting to watch. I don't normally enjoy a full 2-minute video.
Had a very cinematic movie trailer feel to it. Like
Yeah.
my only criticisms on it at all, and this is just like taking it up to an 11 kind of thing, is there was a bit there in the first part where the dialogue got a little verbose for me, and like it was very beautiful sounding, but I lost what they were saying, you know.
Mhm.
And there was a couple of spots in there that I was like, man, if you just added like a slow pan or a zoom to that still image, it would have it would have just done that extra little crank, because you go from really awesome animated shots with beautiful limited animation and making really good use of what you have, and
Mhm.
then just a couple of still shots in there that kind of stood out a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
slow pan or zoom, like that last shot with her, if you were slowly zooming in on them as their faces are getting close, that, oh, chef's kiss, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I can see why this is grabbing attention. I mean, if I didn't know, well, I don't know this creator, I don't know this book at all, I haven't heard of it. And if I stumbled across this video, I was engaged, like wanting to know what was happening. It was visually entertaining. So great job, great job. All right, moving on down into the story section, we can see that they're using the jump points over there on the left. We got another video here, and this looks like sort of an introduction of self. And this is a great place to put this. Whether or not you do it right at the top, it can be debated, but I don't think you need to put a lot of that. This is my book, and I've been passionate about comics my whole life, and blah 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 in your intro video that's up at the top. But putting it here is a great place for it. We'll take a quick glance, see how long this is, and maybe watch a little bit of it. Oh, it's only a minute.
Jonathan Medici, the writer and creator of Eric and its much larger universe. Thank you so much for checking out my Kickstarter. Eric's universe, I first started thinking about years and years ago and started writing in 2012, saving every penny I had.
All right, basically that's just their story. That's a nice thing to have. I like that. Then we have down here the About Eric, which is the name of the story. At first I thought it was just called Avalon, but it's called Eric. So set in the near future, this sci-fi graphic novel is about the journey of a father who must make to save his son, the first sick child in nearly a century, while navigating a violent war between two divergent groups of human beings, charges of treason, and certain death. That was one long sentence. I've stared into the darkness and know I stand no chance. Quote by the character. This is a fully completed 120 plus page graphic novel, and all the funds for this campaign are to be used to cover the printing and production costs. So the book's already done. Any extra funds or push goals go directly to the artist. So a couple more videos in here, guys, using the video feature heavily. I want to check real quick. Okay, so the goal is $6,700. The book is already done. So it makes me wonder, like, how many books are they planning on making? This is always sort of a crapshoot, because like some people just want to print a handful of books, 50, 100, 200. Other people are printing enough to take to conventions. Further yet, some people are trying to print in a mass enough quantity to submit to some sort of online retailer to put into stores. Where do you stand on that, Mr. Fish?
As of yet, I haven't had any luck with anybody being interested in any great quantity of putting my books in stores. Like a few here and there, or like stores that we're friends with and stuff. Yeah, but not like Barnes and Nobles or Books a Million and hitting me up, for 10,000 copies. So I tend to be around like the 500 copy, so I can get them offset printed and bring the price down to something more affordable. And I know I'll burn through those at cons over the next year or two, probably with no problem.
Mhm.
And that's what I tend to do.
Same.
Worst case, I get left over with some stock of Green Zone issue 1 for a couple of years. There's always new people at a show that have never heard of Green Zone, and it's a great opportunity to sell it to them. So it's an evergreen thing. I can always sell it.
So I'm trying to kind of do the math in my head here. When you're talking about a 120-page book, you're talking about a glue-bound book. So now you're getting up into the neighborhood of like what, $8, $10 a book printing. And then if you're going to print 500 of them, you're at like $5,000. Am I doing my math right? So their number sounds about right. $6,700. If this was just a floppy comic, I'd say that was a lot for printing. But because this is such a heavy book, they got to go glue bound with it. And some, depending on who you get to print, at one point, last time I looked at Ninja Print, like they had a minimum of like 500 to 1,000. Some places won't do those glue bound books at small quantities, or they will do comics. So the number he's trying to raise sounds justified. Sounds like he's already spent money on the rest of it. Yeah, this right here, I used to do a lot of concept art for like video game and film, and that's what this reminds me of right here. This sort of painterly, not super tight, soft brush kind of look, and then you tighten up on the characters a little bit. Really, really like that. We got a little backstory in the universe of Avalon, which you guys can go check out. I want to see some of the actual pages here. This is looking good. All right, so already we've got a great story. Right out of the gate, we had a great pitch. We got great looking artwork. We had a great video. Is there anything that at this point you would be needing to push you over the edge to say, I got to get this book? Is there something?
No, I'm done for. That video had me. I'm done.
You're all in. You're all in. All right. Well, there's still a lot more information here, a lot of writing. Maybe, I don't know how much of this is actually needed, because there's
and they had me sold in that first paragraph.
Right.
I mean, because they got all the meat in the story of what's going on. I mean, the name kind of throws me off a little bit just because in my head I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but I can get past that. But they gave me all the action that I need and gave me all the story I need, and they told me it's 120 pages. A lot of campaigns don't even tell you how long the book is. So
yeah, Benjamin and I have talked about that before. Smurf and I have talked about that. That's kind of a deal breaker when it'd be like selling a car and not telling people how many miles are on it or something like that.
It's a Ford. That should be enough.
Yeah. All right, let's take a quick glance at the tiers. We've got, they have the $1 tier. I always feel like keeping that on there is a good thing. You could always get a couple of people that way. Then we've got the digital copy for $16, which is actually a really good deal because we see $5 for 24-page books all the time. This is 5 times that. And so this is still a really good deal for $16.
Yeah, it surprised me until I remembered how big a book this is.
All right, so then we got this complete physical copy with a cover A, and it says a first 50 bonus. So apparently there's only 50 of these, which is a great limited quantity type of thing to push. $30. 20 of them are already taken. No, excuse me. Yeah. No, 30 of them are taken. There's 20 left. Looks like this also comes with the digital copy as well. I always love seeing that. And then some variant covers as well. We have the same thing here for the second cover, another $30 one, limited to 50. And then we have, I'm trying to determine what the difference of this one is because it says cover A again. Now this one says it's not limited. I'm a little confused. There's a little bit of confusion going on here. It says first 50 bonus, complete copy of the graphic novel, 6 chapter, 120-page paperback. The first 50 backers will receive a free added on signed Ashcan Manhattan Beach, the Comic Bug store exclusive, and a sticker pack. Okay, that's the difference. So then we have the regular books. Then we have, he says the towel cover A and a virgin floppy, which is a 24-page comic of chapter 1. So you get the whole graphic novel plus a virgin copy of the first chapter.
That's backwards, isn't it? Like, okay, here's my graphic novel, and then we're going to release the floppy so you can get the individual chapters.
That could be why not too many people have jumped on board with that particular tier.
Yeah.
So then we have a $50 one. It's the same way with that virgin floppy. Then we have a mega bundle for $55, 65, some more virgin copies, copy of floppies. Let me go down to the bottom and see what we got here. Oh, they're going big. They got $1,000 whale tier. I don't know. Can you see the whole screen? Are you?
No, I can see.
Let me go here. Right here. There we go. So this is $1,000 tier, and there's already somebody that's backed it. So let's see what's in it. We always promote the whale tier here. All right. You received the very first time this book was printed, which is a chapter 1 test print, 24-page copy. Get a chance to see under the hood and own a piece of Eric history. Your name and thank you in the back of the book. You'll be thanked as the one above all for claiming this reward. Apparently, there was only one of one, so it's gone. You also receive a copy of the first full test printing of Eric, 120-page book. Additional bonus test prints, metal prints. Both physical copies of the full novel, both physical copies of the Virgin, sticker bundle, a digital copy of 8, and all 8 of the comic book store exclusives. There's only one chance at this reward, and it has been taken. And then right above that, we have a $350 one, which 2 people have claimed, that has the original test print of Eric. And then you also get a second copy of the novel with a cover of your choosing. So this original test print thing is an interesting angle I've never seen before.
Yeah, that's really clever. I like that.
And people are getting it.
Because I'm sitting here just thinking, I know I have the copy that was the first one that I went to go approve at the printers in Little Rock for Alice too. Like, I know which copy that is. I can sign and date that and have that as a special tier. Oh man, I like that. I like that.
That was interesting. I've never seen anyone do that. So all in all, I'd say this creator, Jonathan, is doing a bang-up job, not only in the way that they've marketed and promoted this book, the way the book looks, but also being creative with the rewards. All in all, this has got a high rating, and this is only our first book of the show.
Oh, man, I don't know where we go from here, man.
I know the bar has been raised, but today we're going to do something different. Now we're going to go back to the wheel and spin again.
Let's see what we get this time, baby.
That's right.
Oh, I got chills. Oh.
All right. Are we ready? Number 2. is gonna be
Turn.
dun dun dun.
Yeah.
The Atomic Thunderbolts 1 through 6. There you have it, folks. Open up this in a new tab.
I'm so excited that one hit because I've been wanting to check that out and I haven't taken the time to yet. So this gives me a
And
really
now
good
you get an opportunity. There you go. Isn't it fun? There's so many projects on Kickstarter. Yeah, honestly, we have a couple of campaigns on here from Backer Kit, a couple from Fund My Comics. So I was doing a little bit of research on the statistics of traffic. What kind of traffic gets to those different campaigns. And so I might post that on the next show, but it is drastically different. Like you are taking a risk going anywhere outside of Kickstarter. Let's just put it simply.
I mean, you definitely Kickstarter has a lot of audience there. But at the same time, there's a lot of audience and a lot of people there. Like I did the first Alice.
You're saying there's competition.
Yeah, I did the first Alice on Comictopia last year, and I got so many more eyes on my stuff out of Backer Kit backers than I ever get just randomly on Kickstarter because I'm a tiny fish, pun intended, in a giant sea on Kickstarter. And, over there, I was one of, handful of people in Comictopia, and it worked out good.
Well, that's good. That's a good take. That's a hot take. I like it. Because statistics alone don't speak about all the different angles. Yes, there are like 80, like it's something like 10 to 15 times more in traffic in number of people going through Kickstarter than on Backer Kit. But which is kind of surprising to me. I don't know the full story there, but like when I first saw Backer Kit, they were like an addendum and a partner of Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
And now, like, are they still a partner, or did they just completely sever and branch out?
You can absolutely still like take your Kickstarter to Backer Kit to do the back end stuff, but they're trying to be a one-stop platform, and they're really trying to do things differently and unique from the way Kickstarter does it. Like when you're over there, you can live stream your shows. This show right now, if you're running a campaign, could be live streaming on the front page of Backer Kit. When people show up looking for comics, we would be talking about it. So that's really cool. Kickstarter doesn't do that. And now Kickstarter is trying to do the Backer Kit part so you don't have to go anywhere else.
Right.
And,
yeah, I just wonder about their relationship, or like, are they still like, because basically Backer Kit was like, well, we're just going to start doing what you're doing over here. So it's an interesting thing going on. But on the other hand, I love when there's other things, because we all know what happens when there's a monopoly in this industry, like we had with Diamond. Everything falls apart eventually. Mm-hmm. So it's good to have all these other places to go. But without further ado, let's go over here and take a look at our newest campaign. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see. Let's go with this one. The Atomic Thunderbolts 1 through 6. It says, the long-awaited and epic finale of TJ Comics' revival of the Atomic Thunderbolt is here. All right. So that's our tagline. That's your opportunity to get people's attention. What do you think of that one, Mr. Fish?
If I knew what TJ Comics, if I knew what any of that was, I would probably be more excited. Like if it was saying Archie Comics, The Shield, I would know who that is and I would be more excited. And for some people, this is probably really a big deal.
Yep.
I don't know what it means, but I'm willing to check it out.
Yep. Yeah, so we've said it before, when you use those pronouns in your tagline, or I think it comes into two places. One, using pronouns that people don't know. That's one you should try to avoid. And number two, always, always, always treat your campaign as if you're talking to the people who have no idea about it. All those returning backers, they're going to come back. So just always assume you're talking to the people who have no clue what you're talking about, and you'll do better for sure. Right now, he's got a goal of 4,000 and is at 1,633. I say he, I don't know if it's he. 46 backers and 20 days to go. All right, so we got some pretty cool artwork there, but what we don't see is a video. There's no video today for that one. The first panel, though, that looks cool, looks exciting, looks very superhero-esque. The girl flying there reminds me of a character I've seen before. I don't know how much more I can zoom in on that, but let's try it this way. Oh, wrong one. There we go. I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. Let's try this one. That girl right there. Some sort of Marvel hero that kind of wore the star, and also maybe had a shield, but I don't know. Who am I thinking of?
I'm wondering if, I mean, it kind of reminds me of what was her name, like Lady Fairplay or something. That's a public domain character.
Maybe. I don't know.
I could be wrong.
All right. Let's see here. Hey, Sam's back, pushing on my microphone. There we go. All right, no video. Let's see what we have down below. Let's see what's under the hood, as they say. We got the title, Story, Thunderbolt, The Atomic Thunderbolts. We got links to previous campaigns. And then we have some information. At long last, the epic conclusion of TJ Comics' revival of the Atomic Thunderbolts is here. That's the exact same line. That's a waste. You're just repeating yourself. This is the campaign for issues 5 and 6, the final issues of this Atomic Saga. Okay, cool. I don't know anything yet, though, man. Let's move on. Issue 5, 28-page penultimate chapter of our story. The villainous Baron and his rocket troopers go on the offensive, leading to a shocking turn of events that leaves our hero and his allies reeling, ultimately setting up for the final confrontation with the dastardly Nazi and the remnants of the Third Reich. Okay. It says, reminds me of Geek Girl, which is a past wheel comic. The girl, yeah, a little bit. And good to see you, Sean. All right. So there's a shot of the comic here. So basically, I do like one thing. I like that he's telling us what's happening in this particular issue. That's always a good thing to have when you have a multi-issue type of situation. But I don't really know a whole lot still.
Yeah.
Welcome, Aaron. So in that description, it says the villainous Baron and his rocket troopers go on the offensive, leading to a shocking turn of events that leaves our heroes and his allies reeling, ultimately setting up for a final confrontation. I have no idea the motivations, why people are attacking each other. Is this just villain because he's bad? You know, he's a villain, so he must be bad. It
says a lot of really cool things without saying anything. And
correct.
It's sort of like bad guys be bad guying because bad guys are bad.
Yes.
It doesn't give me the stakes. It doesn't give me the what, the when, the where, the why. And I used to fall into this. I used to think, I can't give too much away. But the fact is, our attention spans are so short. You could tell me the whole plot of the book, and I will forget it before I get the book in the mail.
Especially since you generally don't get these books for a month or more.
Yeah. So I have changed my mind, and now I'm of the stance you can't give too much away, really. And let us know some juicy bits. So, I want to buy the book and find out what happens.
Yep. All right, scrolling down below, it says, now that one said issue 5, and then down below it says issue 6. So let me scroll back up and see what we're being offered here. This says the Atomic Thunderbolt 1 through 6, the long-awaited epic finale. So I'm trying to determine, are they offering us issue 6 right now, or are they offering us 5 and 6?
My impression is that we're getting 5 and 6 available in this campaign, but
that's what it seems like.
The wrong impression from it.
It says issue 6, the oversized 40-page finale of the Atomic Thunderbolt. It's all led to this, the final confrontation between the Atomic Thunderbolt and the Baron. How far will our hero go to save humanity from itself and put an end to the Baron and the Third Reich? That from itself part is like, wait, what is humanity doing?
Is everybody a Nazi?
Is everybody a Nazi? I don't know. The artwork looks very cool, looks very superhero-esque. I think it's fitting. Then we have a section down here for those who came in late, making me feel like I've already missed out. William Willie Burns is a World War II veteran suffering from PTSD when he was recruited by a scientist, Josiah Roan, to take part in an experiment that gave him superpowers. Finding a new purpose in life, Burns becomes the Atomic Thunderbolt and set out on a mission to save humanity from itself. There's that word again. I'm not sure what that means.
What did I do to myself?
Right? What are we all doing to each other? During the war, superheroes fought on the front lines against the Axis powers, but as the Allies advanced further into European theater, they began to disappear. Their existence was questioned. Even by eyewitnesses, and the governments of the world denied they ever existed. As the Atomic Thunderbolt, Burns became the first superhero to appear since the war and drew attention of acronyms. I'm liking this premise. It sounds very familiar, like mixing a little bit of Captain America and the Boys as far as, super-powered heroes fighting in a war, that kind of thing. But what do you think, Mr. Fish? I see you over there stroking the beard.
I am loving the idea of, were they ever really there? That was a legend. I'm loving that idea. That little bit alone has me captivated as being more than just, this is my Captain America story. I'm interested. Okay, you kind of lost me with just the links to the earlier issues, because if I have to take another step to find out, that's a good way to lose a lot of potential customers. They're not going to take the extra step. But that right there, telling me that little bit, has me hooked now. So good job.
Nice. Here's the phrase: "Don't bury the lead." Right. This is information we would have wanted to see a little bit sooner, I think.
If you've given me a sentence synopsis with each one of those links, like in the first book, this happened, you can find the link here. In this book, that happened, you can find that. I would have been much more excited about that.
All right, now this is interesting. I'm not quite sure how to follow this, so I'm going to need your help here, guys. It says, quick history lesson. In 1946, the Rager Company published the Atomic Thunderbolt #1. The titular hero appeared in 2 stories, but was never seen again. I've always been fascinated by Golden Age characters and these characters that were created, forgotten, and made their way into public domain. The Atomic Thunderbolt was always interesting because he came after the war and the superhero boom of the 1940s. Looking to tell a different kind of Golden Age hero versus Nazi story, I decided to explore the period immediately after the war that would become not only the Third Reich's secret weapons program, but also what would happen if the Axis powers had superpowered beings. Thus, the revival was born. So that's an interesting take. This is based on something that previously existed.
Mm-hmm. I didn't used to understand the love of using public domain characters. I was like, why not just make up something of your own that's original that you would own? And, if you're doing like the Black Fury, anybody can come along and do a Black Fury story and, rip you off. And there's not much you can do about it because he's public domain.
Right.
And they're public domain for a reason. People forgot about them. The handful of old dudes like me that might remember them, from some obscure comic in our collection, doesn't have the same draw that, say, a Batman does. But as I've worked on them a lot for clients in their books, I've kind of fallen in love with them and how quickly they fall into the the themes and the positions of characters that we already know. And real quickly, you can put the Black Fury on, a rooftop in the rain in a Gothic city, and you're like, oh, okay, this is like Batman. I know where I am, and you don't have to do a big deep backstory. And I love that. There's something to be said for them.
Yeah, I wonder. Since this is issues 1 through 6, and he started talking about how these first comics had appeared, if that's like being reprinted as part of this, if they have, or they restarted a new story at number 1. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking they restarted the new story, and this is his 1 through 6 of what happened, what could have been with this character.
All right. So we got a section called Why You Love This Story. And then we got the preview pages. So here's the thing, my little summarization of the top part here. There's a lot of text here to read. There's some cool graphics, don't get me wrong. I love these covers. But we got some links to the previous campaigns. Then we've got some stuff about issue 5, some stuff about issue 6. Then we've got information about what this story is. And then we find out that this is based on a previous published book. You might not get everyone to go that far. And so this is really an example of burying the lead. I would find, 1 or 2 sentences, like maybe one sentence that encompasses what this story is about, a classic pulp hero revived and to fight Nazis and superpowers after the World War II. And maybe add in a little bit about what's at stake. Because all in all, even with all of this, it's very pulpy. It's very old school hero, but like there's really not a lot of personal investment. Like I don't know anything about the character or like why he's trying to go save humanity. What's driving him to do that? Those kind of things. And then obviously when you have the Nazis, it's just bad guys are bad because they're bad. That's one of the easiest tropes. And I can live with that, but let's put that kind of 1 or 2 big sentences up the top and really build us an exciting hook.
Yeah, I mean, and like you said before, this is for the people that came in late. The new readers, the new fans are the ones you want to hook first. So you want that information taught. If I'm coming back because I bought all 4 issues before this and I want 5 and 6, I'm going to back it no matter what. I'll scroll through whatever I'm just going to jump over and back the book. But put that stuff for the new fans up top so we can see it and know what's going on. Because, if it's too much scrolling, I'm going to lose attention and leave.
Yeah. Sean's with us and says, if this campaign goes gangbusters, there are going to be a bunch of knockoffs coming, stealing his thunder or his thunderbolts. So here we got some previews of interiors. I like how they said blanked out spoiler pages. We got some it's kind of got that classic pulpy look to it. Stargirl. Stargirl's who I was thinking of.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't that look like Stargirl?
I can definitely see how you got there. Yeah.
What is Stargirl from?
She's DC now, I know, but I'm not sure if she's always been DC or if it's one of the characters they bought, like Blue Beetle and Plastic Man.
All right, so we've got some exciting uncolored pages here, and lots of action going on. Very classic. Everything's in nice, neat boxes, pulp kind of comic storytelling. So this fits. It fits the style of the story. All right, so let's jump into the rewards. We've got. Let me switch to this view here. We've got Atomic Thunderbolt $5 digital edition. I was looking at this cover for a second. I thought it was an action figure. I think it's just an action figure looking cover. But maybe it does say action figure variants over here on the jump points. We'll find out, I think. It says, get a DRM-free PDF copy of the Atomic Thunderbolts 5. 28 pages of story delivered right to your inbox. What are they? Am I missing that acronym? What's DRM?
I don't know. I'm wondering if maybe it's the where you have to put in a code to like get it or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, some people try and lock down those PDFs so hard, which is ridiculous. Worst case, somebody shares your book with a friend and they like it and you got a new fan. I mean,
Right.
don't be so tense.
Yep. Yeah, more. You want more people to see your book.
Absolutely.
All right, so $5 digital, that's good. Then we've got Atomic Thunderbolt digital number 6 for $6. But to be fair, that one's 40 pages. And then we have Atomic Thunderbolt number 5 physical edition for $7, 28 pages of story. That's a good deal.
That's really
and it looks like it includes the digital copy, so even a better deal. Oh, thank you, Sean. He says digital rights management, no DRM. So that's kind of exactly what you were talking about.
Yeah.
DRM means you don't need another service to use what you bought. You own the file. Yes, I like that. Yeah, keep it simple. I would be a little frustrated if like I got a digital download, but then actually could only view it on like somebody's website or something.
I have literally gone to like read digital books I bought like 3 years ago from somebody on Kickstarter, and then go to open it and it's like, oh, you don't have access to this book anymore. And there was like a time limit on it, or you need a code to put in to actually read the book.
I have had that happen too, actually, just recently.
I'm like, dude, come on.
So yeah, then we can get both 5 and 6 for $10. So I do feel like we are definitely getting 5 and 6 at the same time. Physical edition, it's number 6 is $10. Then we have the action figure variant of number 5 for $10. So it is a variant cover.
Yeah.
That looks like an action figure.
Really popular now.
So then we have 5 and 6 physical editions. We're slowly creeping up here. Thunderbolts 5 and 6 action figure variants. A lot of different packaging of these variants. Ending at $65 with Atomic Thunderbolts 1 through 6 with variants. Get all 6 issues of the Atomic Thunderbolts plus the action figure variant covers for 5 and 6. So that's like 8 issues for $65. There's like 5 backers on that one, and the PDFs. All right, not bad. But I think there's a lot of opportunity for organization and growth here. Number one, you've only got 2 issues, and looks like 2 variants, the regular and the action figure variants. Yet there's a ton of reward levels. And so there's like mix and match and this and that. And I feel like it can get overly complicated. And when you give too many choices to people, they can get overwhelmed and potentially back out. I actually just worked with a client about this, and we kind of simplified it. He had like 5 or 6 different covers, variant covers. And that ended up making a lot of tiers. And so what I suggested to him is like, hey, just make a variant cover tier and let them choose whichever one they want.
Yeah.
1 tier, you're done.
Make it as simple as it can be to figure out, and make it as clear in the description as possible. Because there's nothing I hate more than spending 20 minutes going back and forth looking at these tiers, being like, well, wait a minute, am I getting everything that I want on this one, or is that one got something that I'm missing because it's more expensive? And make it simple.
Yep. I feel like because it's World War II, there could have been a number of fun little ways to promote this with some other things, like bookmarks, some other little add-on things, stickers, or even in the video, you can have like the old radio broadcasting, you know, and have some fun with that video. But there's the thing, I get it. Even the some of the most successful Kickstarter creators, like Travis, I was just talking about this, just don't have the time to squeeze in editing and making a video. They're just like,
oh, the editing takes so long.
It does. Honestly, that's why I do a lot more live shows now than I do pre-edited shows, because it takes like 6-7 hours sometimes to edit a video.
And not everybody's comfortable on camera. Not everybody can think on their feet. Some people, as hard as they want to try, I know some guys that write some of the favorite books I've ever read in indie comics. I just love them to death.
Yeah.
But they're awkward, and they can't sell books at cons because they're just awkward dudes. And
speaking of awkward,
unless they bring somebody else to sell for them at a show, they can't make any sales, and that's a shame because their books are top notch.
Yeah. But all in all, I feel like this is a pretty nice looking book, pretty nice looking package. It feels like it could. There's a few places it could be improved, but all in all, not bad. Our last campaign was a high bar, so coming in right after that did not help. All right, that leaves one final spin of the wheel of destiny to see who will be chosen today. So let's go ahead and jump back over there. Let's remove that first. Share this tab instead.
Oh, the chills are killing me, man.
All right, one more spin of the wheel.
Split it up into 3 every time. Man. This is
I like this. It keeps the suspense alive. All right, one more. Here we go. Which one is it gonna be? Looks like Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny.
Love it.
Have you heard of this book?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The creator of this book has been one of my longest supporters, has backed every campaign I've ever done. And when I realized, and not because we're friends, not because we know each other, I just recognize him because he's got a really funny profile picture on Kickstarter, and I keep seeing it on every campaign. So when I made the connection that was him and he's doing it, I was a first day backer, no question.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. All right, so some good choices today. We got our final entry, Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny. Let's see. Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny 1 and 2, the long-awaited second issue of a humorous, action-packed superhero buddy comic book. This time with an origin story and a new character. All right. So based on that, what did I know you know a little bit about this, but pretend you don't. What'd you get out of that?
This is the long-awaited second issue, and that it is a humorous action-packed adventure, and that there's gonna be a new character introduced.
I think there's enough there to be intrigued. I think you could make it a little bit more intriguing, but there's enough. They have a goal of $2,000. That's a nice sweet spot. Because you can still grow a lot from that, but it's definitely enough to get into the territory of getting some high backers. They are already double their goal at $4,146. 103 backers, 16 days to go. So they could get over 5,000 if they keep pushing. So they're, again, third campaign, no video.
Yeah.
All right. Now, again, videos are hard. I get it. But one of the things, I mean, look at how excited we were after we watched that first video. You know?
That excitement, man, that's palpable. That's probably why they're at $8,000 on that campaign. Like, it was exciting like a trailer, and it didn't take a whole lot. There were some cool little animated bits, but as somebody who does that kind of stuff, they're pretty simple. Like, it's not that
Yeah, I've
hard to
seen
do.
some of your animated stuff. I actually was like, I need to go have a sit down with Mr. Fish and see about animating some of my stuff.
I'm saying, man, and with the right tools, it's not that hard to do. And I've started as a doing work for clients now. I'm like, if you have some pages you're thinking of, let me know, and I'll just go ahead and design these on all separate layers so it's easier to move them around. And
Yes.
I'll
You
go
don't
ahead
have
and
to
put
worry
that
about
whole
like
background behind
cropping or
the
using AI to fill in background areas,
Yeah.
anything like but here's the thing. It also sets the tone, the expectations of like what we're going to get. So if you have the right music and show in the right panels, you really get a sense for, all right, this is what this book's going to be like. Whereas you can describe the plot, you can describe the who, what, when, and where without still giving me an idea of like, is this going to be funny? Is it going to be dark or anything like that? So that video can do a lot in that aspect too. But already based on this thumbnail, this looks like some campy fun.
Yeah.
Let's
The
scroll
art
down
looks
and see.
clean. It's funny. It's cute. It looks like it's going to be good. I've seen more of the artwork, like just from him posting about the book and stuff,
Mhm.
and it all looks quality to me. And not like we got a good cover. The insides, it all looks nice, and I've been really impressed with that.
Okay, so this is our first section right here. And right out of the gate, and I'm sure Benjamin's going to agree with me, that's a lot of text, right? I don't know. It could be the most amazing text I've ever read. I don't know yet. But when I look at it,
In there wouldn't
my
have to, though.
first reaction is scroll and go to here, right? And so this is something I talk to my graphic design students about because of social media and how fast we are digesting content. Almost everything we make now, even in magazines and in books, have to be these like short chunks, and you have to separate them with either subtitles or imagery to keep people's interested, because we want to be able to just skim and go, is this the thing I want to read about? And so keep that in mind. But let's dive in and see what it actually tells us. It says under story, Pack Rat and Thunder Buddy is an indie-created, humorous, action-packed buddy superhero comic book. Think Looney Tunes meets Marvel and DC. Drawn in a bold, brightly colored, cartoony style, this comic is kid-friendly, fun, and funny romp that plays tribute to classic superhero comic book genre of heroes and villains. All right. So that sets a tone pretty well. It certainly tells me it's kid-friendly. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be silly.
It's going to be silly. Okay. I feel like you could probably dial that in a little bit, but saying Looney Tunes meets Marvel DC is a wide net. Marvel and DC both cover the gamut from super dark to campy. So maybe putting a title in there like Looney Tunes meets Batman or something to that event, so that we can kind of narrow that scope a little bit. And I think that could help. But we do get the idea that this is classic superhero comic book versus villains. So welcome back to issue 2 of Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny. For those who missed the first campaign, look below for a brief synopsis of what happened last issue. Honestly, you could probably just skip this whole section right here and just start with Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny are 2 characters. You don't need to tell us that you're about to tell us.
Yeah.
Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny are 2 characters that are both best friends that happen to be superheroes. However, as you saw in issue 1, one of them is unaware. I didn't see in issue 1. Much like the main characters of the book, the co-creators of this comic, Derek Jason Bush and John Fletcher Pasquini, are also best friends and have been since they've met in high school back in 1987. Yes, we are that old. The characters were created when Derek was a freshman and John was a senior. It took 35 plus years for these characters to come to life. If you want to read the entire backstory behind making these characters, check out the backstory section of our first campaign here. All right. So what do you think about that part?
I think it's touching. I enjoy it. I like that information myself. I want to hear more about the story of the characters. I
I
want to
think
know more
Benjamin.
about what the book is,
I think
and put that
Benjamin.
down with the creators.
I think Benjamin is channeling Smurf's inner voice here. So everybody envision Smurf's voice saying, "No one cares."
Picture your speakers crackling as he yells it
Right?
at you.
Yeah, and your speaker's breaking as he's screaming it at the top of his lungs. So yeah, I also find it endearing. I can relate to that. I actually worked on a comic in high school with a friend of mine who actually watches this show pretty regularly. And so I can relate to it. But I'm here to buy something. I want to know more about what I'm buying. And you only have so much before you lose my attention. So we want to move this down a little bit, I think.
That would be really great down with who the creators are. Put that down there, introduce them, and put a section here that introduces the characters and say why Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny are awesome.
Yes, that's it right there. I mean, that's all you got to do. Tell us why your comic is awesome. 24-page comic book is part 2 of a 5-comic story arc that began with issue 1. That's obvious. If issue 2 started with issue 1.
Way back in issue 1. I know it's
way back in issue 1. All right, brief synopsis. This second issue continues the story of the 2 superheroes who are the best of friends who fight crime. Issue 2 introduces a new character to the mix called Limelight. This comic also contains the amazing origin story for both Pack Rat and Limelight, which, as you will see, are intertwined. As we saw in the last issue, Pack Rat is interrupted while defending the city against crime by a strange pink named Thunder Bunny, who insists that they are best buddies and have fought together on the moon. Pack Rat struggled with this knowledge, and as the ever-persistent Thunder Bunny battled villainous group of human-animal hybrids called the Menagerie. There's a lot going on here. After thwarting the villains from robbing the bank, Thunder Bunny regaled Pack Rat with details of the mysterious battle royale on the moon. Meanwhile, the zookeeper, angry at his mutated minions had failed their mission, decided to add their numbers and create one more human-animal hybrid, the Ostrichard. I'm not really sure. It's not a word I like to use a lot, but are you trying to say a retarded ostrich? The Ostrichard?
I'm hoping that's where it comes from.
So, all right. I feel like this is a fun book. I'm intrigued by the art and I'm intrigued by the idea, but this pitch needs some refining. Just give us 1 or 2 sentences about who. We already know it's Thunder Bunny and Pack Rat, but who are they? Like, what are their abilities? How are they, connected? That was Sam hitting buttons.
What makes them super?
What makes them super? And then, what is the inciting incident? What is it that's happening? Is a villain trying to destroy the city? Is a villain trying to steal something and they have to stop them? And what happens if they should fail or succeed? That's all we really need to know. And then later on, you can get into the nitty-gritty details, because that was a lot to digest. And I'm still kind of scratching my head about some of it because there's so much kind of overlapping there. And I'm trying to figure out, well, is this all happening in issue 1, or is this something that's happening in issue 2? Or a little confused about that. So honestly, it sounds fun. It has this sort of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles vibe where there's a lot of different characters, a lot of different interesting worlds. But imagine it that way. Imagine if you had to describe your comic. Your comic was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon. How would you describe it? How would you describe a particular episode? And one thing I often tell people when they're trying to figure out how to pitch a second, third, fourth, fifth issue is go find your favorite streaming show on Netflix or Hulu or whatever, and look at their blurbs. How do they describe that episode? So and so must find a way to save his friend, and get cues from that, because they don't go into long diatribes about that. They only get 1 or 2 sentences. It's a really good place to practice your pitch.
That's a really good idea. I'm totally stealing that.
Do it, man. Do it. I every time I watch or I go to the streaming services now, I really get into reading how they describe it, and you can tell some are better than others. But I'm loving the art. This is colorful. It's detail oriented. I mean, this guy's got a little Funko Pop down here. Lots of cool little details hiding in the backgrounds. So this looks like a fun book. Just needs a little bit more of a polished pitch, I think. So, John, if you're listening, look at this. This is an insane number. Let me switch over to this screen because we're going to look at the rewards next. But our friend John here, whom I'm not that familiar with, but I'd like to, has backed 1,407 campaigns.
You wonder why I jumped on right away. Like, he's backed everything I've ever done, and I didn't know him. Like, he's not like one of my friends that I talk to every day.
He is a guy that loves comics and loves the indie comics.
Huge supporter, man. Huge.
So, and that immediately endears me to people and like makes me want to support their stuff. But on this show, we support based on which one was giving us the best pitch. That's what this show's all about. Quickly, let's look at the rewards. Digital PDF of issue 2 is only $5. 15 people have backed that. Catch-up tier of digital PDFs 1 and 2 is only $10. Physical copy of issue 2, along with the digital copy, is $15. Honestly, I would just throw that in to the physical copy. There's no reason to charge extra for a digital copy. It didn't cost you anything.
I did it on the campaign before last. Advice from someone else, and it made me feel bad.
It made me feel bad. Let's see. Physical copy of issue 2. A physical copy issue 2B. So I'm assuming that's a different cover for $20. And, we love variant covers. I love variant covers. My suggestion, if you want to move them, is make them special, make them unique by saying there's a limited quantity or they're only available on Kickstarter. We're not going to sell these at conventions. We're going to sell them in the store. They're only available on Kickstarter. That makes them unique. That makes them exclusive. It makes people like willing to pay a couple extra dollars for them. You don't have to do them all
at the same time, I'm just devil's advocate on that. Then you end up with some really great art on books like I have that I'm not going to ever reprint because they were Kickstarter exclusives. And sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I had a copy of that one because that was so good.
So quick question on that. When you are printing your books, I always look for a printer that can take the number of books I'm going to do, like say 500 books, and then I can mix and match however many covers I want within that 500, because they're printing all the interiors, through the press, and then they're like, all right, I'm going to do 250 of my standard one. I'm going to do 50 of this one, and I only sold 2 of this one exclusive cover, so give me like 5 of those, so give me 10 of those. Is that how your printer works?
Before, no. I was doing offset printing in China, and they were like, no, the minimum order is 500 books, and if you want 2 copies of something, we could do them digitally printed, and they'll be like $6 a piece. And I'm like, no, I'm not paying that. That's too much. I have done like offset printing, and then done a short print run from like Kablam of just the variant covers that I needed. Before, I have even taken the original offset printed ones I got and unbound them and rebound them and trim them and stuff with the variant covers myself, which was very labor intensive, but I have the skill set to do it and make it come out right. So they looked great. I wouldn't suggest that for everybody, but I could pull that off. And the new printer I'm using said he doesn't have a problem if I need to throw in 30 of this one and this one in the print run. So I'm looking forward to trying that this time around with Alice 3. I'm going to be doing them all in the big print run and see how it goes.
Well, personally, when I first started printing my own books, my first Kickstarters, I think I started in 2016. And back then, they didn't have the ability to do that. It was, if you wanted to do another cover, you'd have to do a minimum of that cover too. And what I ended up doing was really cutting down on the amount of variant covers, because as all of us who've made campaigns can attest to, sometimes you pay for an artist to get an exclusive variant cover, you make it a tier, and like 2 people back it. And then you're like, oh, well, now I have to print a minimum of like 100 of these. What do I do?
$500 for that cover that I made.
Plus you paid an artist for it. Yeah. So for me, the variant thing, I mean, people love the variant covers, but for me, it's crucial that I have the ability to, small run them if I can. And so finding a printer that can do that is important.
And having an exclusive one on like your all covers tier that you can only get there, that you can't do as an add-on or something, to me it's vital, because if you're the I want all the covers guy, then you can only get it on that higher dollar tier, which kind of helps offset the cost of paying an artist to do a cool cover like that.
Yep. All right, let's get back to these tiers before we hear from our sponsor and then choose which one is going to be today's book. We've got catch-up tiers, issues 1 and 2 for physical. All the covers for issue 2 physical for 80. Retail tiers. Now, here's the thing about retail tiers that I don't see everybody doing. You got to remember, if any of you guys have ever walked into a comic book shop and said, hey, will you carry my book? Comic book shops 9 times out of 10 will say, yes, we'll give you half of cover. So if you have a $5 book, they're going to pay $2.50 for it. So if you're offering a retail tier, then you need to be giving them enough of a discount that they can make a profit. Otherwise, they're probably going to pass it up, because they got to move it. These comic shops are like sometimes struggling to stay above water anyway.
Yeah. It's razor thin margins to start with. And I understand the fear as a creator that, well, what if I put too good a discount and people just snag that up because they're getting the books cheaper? There's people reading your book.
Yeah.
What if they do and they have 10 copies and they give them away to people on their channel or whatever? What if that's the tier we backed on this and we gave them away as free prizes to the best comment? Like, exactly. It's not a bad thing. Like, I've known a lot of people that buy that just to be able to give them away to people.
And here's another thing, like when I first started printing independent comics, I would go to all the comic shops in the entire state one at a time and be like, hey, would you carry my book? And they would give me that, we'll pay half of cover price. At the time, my books were $5, but it was costing me almost $3 to print them, and they were giving me $2.50. So I was walking out of the door with a loss. But quickly, I was able to say, when people were like, hey, where can I find your book? Every comic shop in the state. And you go to any of them, they'll find it. Or people would see me at a show, and they're like, hey, I saw your comic in such and such comic shop. It starts to build this validity, and it is really helpful for people to see that book in the comic book shops. So yeah, it's worth it. It's like advertising paying a little advertising cost. So it's worth it. But now I've found a new way to kind of like get the best of both worlds, where the comic shop's getting something and I'm still walking away, in the black as well. But that's my secret. All right, back to our final. Take a look here. Let's just scroll all the way down. This is our last one. $95. You get issue 2A. and a head sketch, 6x9 by artist Nate Levitt of a character of your choice.
That's cool.
For $95, that's a good deal. You get a sketch and the book, both physical and digital. That's a good deal. And there's only 10 of those, so 6 people have already jumped on them. All right, so there we have it. That's our 3 entries into our campaigns. So while we decide which ones we are going to back, let's hear real quickly from our sponsor of the show. Let's talk about fulfillment for a second. You've worked your butt off to get your comic made and crowdfund your book. Now you're faced with sorting, packing, labeling, shipping, and tracking potentially hundreds of backers. Fulfillment can make or break your indie comic campaign. It can be downright overwhelming, especially if you're a one-person operation. That's why we're excited to share that our new sponsor, Gemini Mailers, now offers full-service fulfillment designed specifically for independent comic creators. They're offering fulfillment starting at just $2.50 per order, including Gemini's premium mailers shipping at cost. No markup storage, no monthly minimums, so you can ship in waves if you want. They even have custom packaging options like shrink wrap, filler pads, and more. These guys get it because they've been mailing our comics for years, and now they've built a warehouse operation that's already helping creators like us fulfill campaigns smoothly. So if your next campaign feels like it's going to bury you in boxes, be sure to check out GeminiComicSupply.com. This isn't just shipping, it's peace of mind. There we go, Gemini Mailers. Thank you for sponsoring. And I'm excited about the idea of fulfillment centers helping out, because I have done, packing for hundreds of books by myself, and it gets overwhelming real fast. So I can appreciate that.
I'm really proud of how good I've gotten at it and how I've been able to cut it down in time. But I am looking forward to the point where it just doesn't make sense and it's better to let somebody else do that. Hoping to be there before long. That'd be nice.
Well, look who has just joined us. Jonathan Medici from Avalon, or Eric Avalon is here. So that brings us to the final section of our show where we decide which one is the reigning champion of this week. We had, to recap, Eric Avalon Book 1, and then Atomic Thunderbolts number 1 through 6, and Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny issue 2. So if you haven't already, put your vote in the comment section. Mr. Fish, have you decided which one you're going to back this week?
Oh, yeah.
Me too. All right. Let's hit the drum roll, please. Ta-da! He's backwards.
Yeah, I flipped my camera. That way I can do this and not have to worry about it.
That's all right. I think it was obvious. Since you're here, Jonathan, we were blown away by your video. You had a great looking campaign. Pretty much everything we went through was flawless. I don't know if you can go back and watch the beginning of the show, but both of us want to know, if you have the ability to answer, how did you go about the voice acting, the voiceovers on your campaign? Was it an actor? Was it AI? Was it your voice altered? Because in the end, it sounded great, and we want to promote other people to do the same thing.
Really good.
He says, great question. Because you did a great job with that video. He's going to leave us in suspense on the answer. In the meantime, while we're waiting, he says he's the voice actor for Blizzard Entertainment trailers. I knew I recognized that voice.
There we go.
So, great connection there. I don't know if he's a friend of yours. That's not something that probably everyone can get, but I do think there is other people that you can talk down. For instance, not only do I have access to Smurf, who does voice acting, but there's also Mark. I can't think of his last name, but he's a voice actor for Dragon Ball Z. who actually lives just down the street from me. And so that was another option that I have there. But that made a huge difference. I mean, it just really brought it to life. So kudos on that.
And the great quality animation.
Be sure and let him know that he did a great job, and we noticed it. But yeah, your campaign looked great. We're excited to go back at. You did a great job on tiers and everything else. So yeah, you can go back and check it out. So for those of you that are making your own campaigns, like I've said earlier, I do have a service called the Crowdfund Clinic. You can find that at actionlinestudios.com, where I will go and do a long breakdown of your campaign, going from the title, the tagline, the content, the video, the reward section, and list all the positives and the negatives, and as well as some suggestions on how it could be improved, even rewrites sometimes about how you might reintroduce your opener or your tagline or things like that. So be sure and check out that at Action Line Studios. Also, we're trying to get to 1 million subscribers here on the show, so be sure and subscribe on YouTube so we can get that 1 million mark, or just get monetized, one of the two. And then, Mr. Fish, where can they find you and support you and your comic and your endeavors?
You can find me on all social medias at Mr. Fish Comics. Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Central, 2:30 p.m. Central, I do Roll for Heroes with Esteban from Ultra Comics, and we roll up a random set of prompts and draw new characters on the spot, come up with stories for them. Friday nights at 6 Eastern Time, including tonight, we do 5-Star Fridays, which is going to be live tonight from Middletown, Ohio, on the scene of 5-Star Comic Con, which is why I'm in Ohio right now. And then, you can find me on social media everywhere else, and gomrfish.com will always take you to the latest thing I'm working on, which right now is Late Pledges for Alice Lost in Wonderland issue 3, available now.
Issue 3. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you learned something. And as always, be kind to each other. We're all trying to make comics. We all love storytelling. And we'll see you next Friday again on the Comic Book Showdown of Ultimate Destiny.